Welcome to the second module of the mushroom course. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go and look out for the first module to understand what mushroom is and the business opportunities in the mushroom farming business. In this module, we'll be talking about biology and the life cycle of mushroom. So let's get right into it. In this model, you're going to learn the main part of a mushroom, right? Why good hygiene is very important in mushroom farms, the stages of mushroom growth, and why, you know, mushroom is a fungi and not a crop. And so we'll be talking about how fungi grow differently from crops. So let's just get into it, right? No long stories today. The mushroom anatomy, you need to know your crop. So there are a couple of parts of a mushroom that you need to know. First is the cap. We call it the top umbrella part, and that's what protects the spore, which is the underneath of the mushroom fungi that allows it to grow, right? Then mushroom also have what we call gills. So the gills are the lines under the cap, and that's where the spores are released from. And then mushroom also have stems, but they call their stems stipe, right? So the stipes is that stalk that is holding the cap, and it supports and raises the cap. So it's what the cap stands on. Now we have the spores. We like to call the spores the microscopic seed because you have to see the seed under a microscope, and that is what we use for reproduction. Lastly, we have what we call the mycelium, which is the white root-like web, right? The white root-like web that is at the end and is the real body of the fungus, right? And it lives in the substrate. So when you see a mushroom, you now know that the up of the mushroom is called, the umbrella part is called the cap, right? The lines on it are called the gills. The stalk that you are holding is called the stem. The seeds that are microscopic are called spores, and then the root-like web at the end are called mycelium, and that is where it grows from. So now let's talk about the life cycle of mushroom, right? But first of all, I like to drop a key message. You don't plant mushrooms, you build the environment and mushroom grows itself. So mushroom don't grow from seed like maize or tomatoes. They grow from their spores, which are invisible in the eye. So there are various stages, which is first it starts from the spore, the tiny seed released from the gills, and then the spores land on moist surface and sprouts. And then the mycelium, which is like the root, right, begin to spread inside. If you're growing this in a bag, it begins to spread inside the bag. If you are growing this inside, if it's on the field, it begins to spread underneath the soil. And the next thing we have is the hyper. So that's the first uproot. That's the mycelium begins to thicken and form a small ball, right? Another small ball has formed, which is like the first thing you see when you see mushroom in the wild that is just growing. Then the next phase for it is the pinhead. The baby mushroom then begins to come out. And after that, the whole body begins to mature. It spreads open its hands. And then you know that it is ready for harvest. Now let's talk about the mycelium because the mycelium is the true body of the fungus. The mushroom we see just the fruit, right? Like mango on the tree. The mycelium is the real body and is hidden inside the substrate. That is if you are growing with substrate, and it's hidden under the soil if you are growing on the field. A healthy mycelium is white, it is clean and fast growing. A contaminated mycelium is green, black or smelly. What does that tell you? If you are running a farm and you begin to see somebody give you a mycelium, which is usually root that is green, black or smelly, that is a bad mushroom. If you're in the market and you're trying to buy a mushroom and you see that it is green, black and smelly at the root, it's a bad mushroom. But a mushroom that is good is usually white, clean, and you know that this is the right mushroom to work with. Always check the mycelium in your bag before moving to fruiting, especially if you are using grow bags for your mushroom. Then let's talk about the ecology. This model is particularly very, very critical for people who are maybe studying because they are trying to use it for schoolwork, but for also if you're in business so that you know what you are growing. First of all, fungi are not plants. Mushroom is a fungi. They don't need sunlight to make food. So that is why most times mushroom thrive more indoors than outdoors. They live by breaking down their own dead cell, right? And that's why we use things like sawdust when we are growing them. And one thing you need to know is that they love moisture, they love warmth, they love fresh air for fruits in and clean environment. So that's why I know you're growing mushroom, you want it to be very cold. You want it to be cold enough for them, but not too cold for them. You want them to have the place to be closed in a dark environment so there's moisture, but more importantly, the place should be neat. Then if these conditions are poor, to be truthful with you, your mushrooms will not grow, or even if they grow, they'll be very, very infected. And why does this matter for you who is about to go into mushroom farming? If you understand this life cycle, right, you know when to expect harvest, you'll be able to detect problem, you know how to create the right growing condition, but more importantly, you'll be able to manage your incubation and fruiting better, and you will waste less of your time and grow more mushrooms. What are the things that we've added to this particular model to support you? If you are watching this video on agrodemy.net, you'll be able to see that you can be able to download the mushroom and anatomy diagram and the visual cycle, the life cycle visual art of a mushroom. But that will be it for this model. This model will just for us to understand the anatomy of this course of this product called mushroom. As a quick recap, mushroom have special parts. They have the cap, they have the stem, they have gills, and they have the spore. And they grow from their spores and not their seed. Mycelium is the foundation of the farm. So mushrooms grow best in moist, clean, dark places, not like crops. And good understanding of how mushroom grows leads you to higher yield and fewer losses. I'll see you in the next module where we'll be diving deeper into setting up a mushroom farm. Thank you. And don't forget to let me know in the comment section one thing in this particular model video that stood out for you.